Is it time to sound the alarms? Are your underperforming players actually busts or potentially rest of season sleepers? We let you know as we fire up the fantasy football panic meter. All this and more. It's a brand new IBT podcast coming right at you.
I've been going dummy, out of bounds, putting on a clinic. Stick around, carrots in my hardware. KC, caught him in the crosshair. Look at me, been the guy calling Mr. MVP. Keep your ass on the bench by my empty seat. Earn my stripes like I fixed this league. Your dog's on the turf, my dog's in the street. You can find me somewhere in between. Never a dull moment like a movie scene. About to do the ops like I did this beat. Let them keep talking RG3. Coming to you live. This is the In Between Fantasy Football Podcast.
All right, and welcome into the In Between Fantasy Football Podcast, your place for a refreshing and feel-good take on fantasy football and NFL gambling. Fall has officially landed, and the football season carries on. We've got a loaded program for you. We got the panic meter. We've got cut candidates, waiver wire, a week early stashes, plus our best bets for week 4. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, and despite me being 0-3 for potentially the first time ever in my home league, still ready to rip because that's what we do here at IBT. And tonight I'm joined by both your and my friends, including a man who is apparently setting the world on fire in Scott Fishbowl. He's a turkey, cheese, and extra mayo type of guy. He's Boston's boy, Steve Lawson. What's going on, Steven?
Not much. I had a bit of a down week in Scott Fish, but still really good. Like, just not up to my team's standards. We had a little team meeting after the game to kind of get light a fire under everybody. No, I had to be there. I had to light a fire under them. You know what? My tight end heavy attack worked, and I just feel very vindicated overall.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, man. Glad to see that you're back in action with us tonight as well. And we're also joined by a dude who isn't afraid to go to battle on the internet to defend our Lord and our Savior, Chase Brown. He's a big business, light ranch and son of gun. He's Eric Romoff. Tex, how are you? And, thanks for keeping it on point about our guy, because I'm getting buried right now in the YouTube comments for the buy low call on him last week.
Man, I didn't realize I was as high on Chase Brown as apparently I am, right? I thought I had like a pretty moderate level take, and the world out there would not trade. I mean, forget a turkey and mayo sandwich. They're not trading a ham sandwich for Chase Brown right now. So we'll get into it. But yeah, I've been mixing it up in these Twitter streets, getting also familiar and acquainted with the Chase Brown market over the last few days.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We put out a short right over the weekend on our sleeper trade targets, and yeah, not a fan of Chase Brown out there. I'm seeing, and but either way, as always, wanted to say shout out to everyone who is tuning in with us. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content, and make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're new. Shout out to our friend Albert checking in. What's good, Albert? Great to see you. Ben rocking and rolling, ready to go. And Rachel hanging out with us as well, saying, who's making sandwiches? I don't know. I was just thinking about him having the boys over for Saturday night here, Eric. Little Penn State whiteout game going on. I was like, what's like a good sandwich I could make for like a whole group of people that's like a little something unique? Any recommendations for you down there in Texas?
Oh man, I don't know if it's something unique, but like you gotta play the hits here, right? Like you gotta go Italian sandwich, maybe bust out the crock pot and do some meatball sandwiches, right? Like this is whiteout week. Like you got to build a nice base for a long day of boozing with the boys.
Yeah, not meatball subs. Don't do meatball subs. If it's a whiteout game, you can't. If everyone shows up in white, you can't go with the meatball subs. Come on, guys.
Good point.
It doesn't matter what you're eating. It's getting all over that shirt.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I go with the turkey and cheese. Classic. Yeah. But you know what? If you're going to put like lettuce and tomato out, put it on the side, because there's people like me who can't eat that. And so I
you
don't
can't
like,
or you won't.
I physically can't get myself to do it.
Okay, so you won't. It's not like you're allergic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all right. Try and play the victim card, Steven.
It's a medical condition.
It's a disability.
Guys, if you want more of us, whether it's the food takes, whether it's the fantasy football or NFL betting, make sure you're checking out the IBT family. That's our premium community where you can get access to our full weekly betting cards, the Discord chat, memorabilia giveaways, and some entry into our touchdown contest. Things are heating up right now over there. It's just $3.99 per month, $36 for the year. You're also going to get access to all of the NASCAR family content, and more sports are on the way as well. So the link to that is in the episode description. Make sure you're coming out and hanging out with us in the IBT family. Grateful for everyone who's been checking out with us. And we got checking in saying fire graphic. Hey, we do what we can over here, Steve, right? You're pretty heavy on the graphics as well, so we appreciate that. Yeah. Let's go ahead, though, guys. We got a loaded program, so let's jump right into things and not mess around with a little bit of temperature check coming your way.
Temperature check.
That's really spicy. Holy shit.
All right, it is temperature check. We are taking the temperature of some of the early season busts, and are we figuring out if these guys are going to actually be something down the stretch, or whether it's time to dump them while you can still get a little bit of name value out of them. And let's start at the top here, boys. On a scale of 1 to 10, Ashton Jeanty, running back for the Las Vegas Raiders, drafted in the first round by many people, including your boy here. Currently RB33, went at RB6 ADP. What's the temperature check? I'm at a 2. Where are you guys at?
8.
Eric?
Ooh, I'm probably closer to like a 5.
Okay, so Steve, it sounds like you're in full panic mode here. What's the sentiment behind that?
So, personally, I'm not in any panic because I don't have them. But I warned a lot of people before the season that the Raiders' offensive line was trash, and the Raiders' offensive line is extremely bad. It's worse than we thought.
Bottom 3, bottom 4, run.
Yeah, he's
run
not getting
probably,
any traction. He's not getting any space to run. He's getting hit behind the line most times he does run, and now he's not being involved in the passing game. I am very, very, very concerned that this is just going to be a lost year for Ashton Jeanty, and it's something that happens to these rookie guys when they come in. They're drafted way too high to a situation that isn't ready for them. It's not that they're not ready. The situation they're going into isn't ready to support them in any way. And I mean, this is a mess of a team right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to be great for Ashton Jeanty going forward. I don't see it getting better. It's not like there's a big injury return coming on the horizon to save them.
Eric, what were your thoughts here on Jeanty? Because when I went all in on him this offseason, I cited these elite running backs who have been drafted inside the top 10 of the NFL draft, the Saquons, the Zeke Elliott's, the Bijan Robinsons, that traditionally do get off to a hot start, but sometimes we do see this where it is a little bit sluggish starting, whether that's Jahmyr Gibbs as a rookie, whether that was Leonard Fournette in his first couple games in the NFL, having that first round draft capital. So do you think Ashton Jeanty still has a chance? And is this very much the Joe Boo week down there facing the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, I do think that the turnaround starts as soon as this week against the Chicago Bears. I mentioned in my my response, I'm kind of right in the middle of the road, right? Your analysis about these high draft capital guys holds water over the course of time. The reason why is typically those guys get pretty elite opportunity and usage as a response to that high draft capital. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Ashton Jeanty, right? 78.3% opportunity share, number 7 in the league. So the foundation of his fantasy production is there in his opportunity, but his circumstances pretty dicey. Steve laid out those points bang on. The one that I think categorizes the best. Ashton Jeanty has the 6th lowest yards before contact, 0.8 yards before contact. That offensive line is doing absolutely nothing for him. So that is obviously of concern. I also think over the course of a season, especially a new season with Chip Kelly at the helm, those guys are going to figure out where their blocks are, where the holes develop, where the gaps are, and it will get incrementally better. And we should see a little bit of an uptick in terms of efficiency. And as long as that volume stays, that will mean brighter days ahead for Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah, 7th right now in opportunity shares for the running back position, 15th in weighting opportunity as well. So we just need to see a little bit more in the passing game. I'm with you there, Steve. 14th in routes run. That's not really what we thought we were getting when we drafted Ashton Jeanty. I think hold one more week. Let's not hit the panic button quite yet. I'll say a little bit more on Ashton Jeanty a little bit later when we get into the betting cards. Let's go to Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, wow. This one's not looking good for me either. I had him inside my top 5 wide receivers pre-draft. Went wide receiver 8 ADP, currently wide receiver 54. Where are we at temperature-wise, 1 through 10, guys?
9.
I'll go with his number. Give me a 7.
Okay, so obviously the panic is real here, Eric. What's your analysis behind that? Because to me, like, there is always the chance, and I thought, coming into this year, the one thing that could get in the way, that's not only Trevor Lawrence potentially being, a pretty middling quarterback in the NFL, but at the same time, like, Brian Thomas Jr. was certainly a guy coming out of LSU who only really had the one senior year of production, right? And then kind of carried that into a rookie year. This isn't a Chase Claypool type of situation, right? Like we're not that high on the panic meter.
I don't think it's quite that bad, right? Chase Claypool would probably be off the 1 to 10 chart, but it's a pretty tough scene, right? Brian Thomas Jr. was not someone that I was targeting over the course of the preseason and draft season, because I think that he was a bit of a paper tiger in terms of his 2024 fantasy production, right? It was largely downfield, jump ball, contested catches type of big plays, which, to be fair to him, is in his skill set, but it's really hard to project those out to be reliable on a week-over-week basis. And also, a lot of that productivity came with with someone other than his current quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, and he is now in a circumstance where his team went out and not only spent the 2nd overall pick to acquire another wide receiver to run alongside him, but traded a ton of draft picks to move up to the 2nd overall pick. So the circumstance is really ominous for Brian Thomas Jr. I think he was overdrafted based on his 2024 performance. And so his managers are certainly panicked. Mm-hmm. I don't think that the floor is going to completely fall out. I just think we see him settle into like that kind of like mid to late round or mid to late range wide receiver 2 territory, maybe even wide receiver 3 territory that he probably kind of always was.
Steven, sounds like the panic is also high with you being a 9.
Yeah, and it's a lot to do with what Eric said, especially with the fact that this was a product. Most of his production that we look and go, he was great, was with Mac Jones. He wasn't great with Trevor Lawrence, like, at all. But the bigger concern I have is that he is now labeled as soft. That is real nerve-wracking in the NFL. Defenses do not respect him, and defenses are saying to each other, hit him and hit him hard over the middle because he won't catch it. And that's a big problem, that your wide receiver 1 does not want to be hit over the middle. And we saw him alligator arm it. Listen, I commend any NFL player for being willing to go out there and get their heads blown off like that. But you know what? Like, it's our job to analyze it. And he is pulling back. He is kind of looking scared to get hit over the middle. And defenses, I mean, they're saying it out loud. That's very rare to hear. I don't really want to trust someone who the league has labeled soft.
Man, I'm at a 2 again. I just don't think I understand the concern, maybe a 3, but like, you still look at some of the opportunity metrics though here, like 6 in our air yard share, like we're still first read targets. We're at 13th among wide receivers, 15th in target share. Like, it's not that bad. The Jaguars are passing a good bit too, positive game scripts for them. So I don't know. I think maybe the biggest thing is that maybe we were all just a little bit head over heels for the talent. So like, if we were redrafting today, like, where would you guys be taking him? Like, I think I'd still probably be taking him like in that 3rd round range. Definitely a drop, but
I'm not like going to victory. I mean, this segment is like my big victory lap, right? There's a bunch of guys on here that I'm like, I told you to stay away from. I told you to stay away from Brian Thomas Jr. because it's worrisome. Yeah, like I'm probably 5th round, 6th round, maybe 7th. On
Eric?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, I think he's like a early to mid 4th rounder, right? Like,
okay.
The point is the one that we make all the time, right? Happiness is a function of expectation. You go out and draft these guys early, you draft them at their ceiling, and unless they explode, you're not going to be happy with that decision. And
I don't know where I'm drafting a guy that I'm happy with, wide receiver 54. I don't know where I'm drafting that I'm happy with that.
It's still early. It's still early. We'll see what happens for Brian Thomas Jr. I think I'm going to go out and test the waters for him this week, just based on consensus here. And, I'd love to hear everyone from the IBT family too. Are you guys excited about Brian Thomas Jr.? Are you worried? Where's your panic level meter get there? I want to hear from you. And I'm seeing some questions come in from some friends as well, and we'll make sure we get to those before we get out of our fantasy football discussion. Let's go to Ladd McConkey, though, wide receiver for the Chargers, wide receiver 11 in ADP, wide receiver 41 currently overall right now. And gentlemen, this was a situation where, Steve, you and I definitely battled in the offseason about Ladd McConkey. You and I and Tyler Bradley actually have a 3-year bet for Ladd McConkey going deep into the future. And I started to pull off him late in the process, right? Like when it came to redraft season August after Keenan Allen got signed, I said like that is a real concern. I don't think Ladd McConkey is going to see the targets I thought he was going to. And now enter the actual potential Quentin Johnston breakout too, a guy who's now done it against seemingly very elite cornerbacks this season. He has a lot of elite metrics that are popping off as well. So where are you guys at here on Ladd McConkey? Like, I still think he's a usable piece in fantasy, but like from where you drafted him at wide receiver 11, like I'm a 7 or an 8. Like I think it's pretty inevitable that all these Chargers receivers are kind of just plateauing each other. Are you guys like in that 7-8 range, or is this a full 10?
It's definitely an 8 for me, and it's because I think Keenan Allen showed up and went right back to the role that he had. And he is Justin Herbert's when I need a play guy, I go to Keenan Allen. That's a problem.
Eric, where are you at for Ladd?
I'm probably a 6 on Ladd. There's certainly that familiarity with Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert, right? We see, third down, got to have it type of moments. We're seeing Justin Herbert look his way, whereas previously that was the domain of Ladd McConkey last season. We also have to keep in mind, like, Keenan Allen is approximately as old as the tablets that the 10 Commandments were chiseled into, right? Like this is a 3-week sample size for a very old player. We talked about it at the beginning of the season. Usually the first 3-4 weeks of the year, these KG veterans tend to do a little bit better than some of the young guys. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Keenan Allen start to taper off a little bit. But even if he does, the more problematic thing with Ladd McConkey, and this is according to our friend Ron Stewart over on Twitter at Ron Stewart _ is the slot participation rate has dropped off by a full 10% for Ladd McConkey, 70% or north of 70% last year, hovering around 61% this year. So even if Keenan Allen starts to gas out a little bit, if Ladd McConkey isn't getting those layup touches out of the slot nearly as frequently as he was last year, which is where Keenan Allen's role is stepping into, that spells pretty problematic things for Ladd McConkey for the rest of the season.
1 red zone target right now for Ladd McConkey compared to 6 to Keenan Allen. We have 5 for Quentin Johnston. And it's just like when I made the decision not to draft Ladd McConkey, it was because of Keenan Allen. I didn't even factor in really that Quentin Johnston could have this potential breakout season. He is looking like the guy that I think we all potentially expected him to be when we saw him come out of the Big 12 with TCU on that just dynamite team that they took to the national championship game. So been great to see that. Eric, you're not believing in the QJ breakout?
I mean, I am believing in it more. I was smirking at the idea of what we believed him to be coming out of TCU, where he couldn't catch, and then immediately came into the league and showed that he couldn't catch.
Well, yeah, but he's still a first round talent, right?
Sure, he is outperforming what my expectation was for him coming in as a rookie. Is my point. I'm still not ready to be hurt again with Quentin Johnston. I'm still waiting for the drops to come, but I mean, so far so good through 3 weeks.
Yeah. Let's go to another receiver, T. Higgins for the Cincinnati Bengals, wide receiver 12 in ADP, currently wide receiver 61, gentlemen. It was a bad day with Jake Browning under center, a ton of fumbles for the Bengals. I mean, I don't know if I ever saw anything like that. That was one of the most disgraceful games with just ball security issues up and down the ladder, running backs, receivers, chases, giving it away. And I think that caused a bad game script for the Bengals. They never got back into things. And yeah. So are we selling T. Higgins here? Like, what is the panic meter for you, Steve? Like 1 through 10?
2. You actually have never seen something like what happened against the Vikings. For the first time ever, I think Pro Football Focus gave out a 99.9 grade to a defender, to Isiah Rodgers.
Dude, good. That is good karma, because he gave a kid and his dad tickets to the game, gave them autographed merchandise the week before. So that was good karma for Isiah Rodgers. So yeah, he had multiple touchdowns, a couple punch outs there too.
Yeah, this was an all-time bad game. And it was an all-time bad game on like just the first start for Jake Browning, right? I don't think it's going to get like, worlds better. I don't think he'll hit his ADP at all. Like we
Third
have to
round.
understand that like the panic meter was much higher when Joe Burrow got hurt, right? Like that's what is causing his ADP to not hit. But he'll finish as a wide receiver too. He'll be fine. It's T. Higgins. He's plenty talented. Jake Browning can throw enough, and I expect the Bengals to go make a move fairly soon for either Russ or Jameis, hopefully. And if it's Jameis, I mean, what's a -100 panic meter, right? Because now we're getting like he's the wide receiver 2 because Jamar Chase is the wide receiver 1. You know what I mean? So let's hope Jameis ends up in Cincy.
Yeah, Eric, this is dicey because, I mean, we can all play the game of ifs and buts and candy and nuts, right? That they could potentially go out and get Jameis Winston. But before that, like we're currently at a place right now. Shout out to our guy, Rod Villagomez, for that one. He definitely brought that onto the IVT airwaves. But target share right now for Higgins, 15.2%, 61%. I mean, the deep targets are there, right? He's had 3 deep targets. That's been great. He's out there. He's playing, the snaps we wanted him to see. That we know the Bengals have to pass a ton, but it just hasn't been great as far as, whether that's opportunity or efficiency.
It has not been great. I'm probably a 4 on the T. Higgins panic scale, if for no other reason than he shouldn't have been drafted as wide receiver 12. That's kind of a theme for me with all these guys. Like, guys that are drafted earlier than they should or drafted at their ceiling are disappointed. How do you feel, right? With this Bengals performance, I mean, I didn't realize this was a take when I first said it, but the Jake Browning-led Bengals offense is exponentially better than what you saw on the field in week 3, right? Like, obviously this was a legendary performance by the Vikings, but also games like this, you saw it in the later slate of games with Seattle and the Saints, right? Like, you have an early defensive touchdown, you have an early special teams touchdown, and a team is all of a sudden down 14, 17, 20 points, and the train just completely comes off the tracks, right?
Yeah.
You look at the splits with T. Higgins, with Browning in and out of the game, at least as a starter, and they're not that far off, right? Like 11.4 full PPR points with Browning under center, 14.9 with Joe Burrow, right? Like, I don't think the floor completely falls out with regard to T. Higgins. Obviously, if they bring in Jameis Winston, that would be electric. Shameless self-promotion and shout out. Go check the timestamps on my Twitter feed. I've been talking about our guy KOC going and getting Anthony Richardson up in Minnesota for a few years now, which would be a fun experiment if nothing else. So I think that we're talking about what will likely be Jake Browning season in Cincinnati, but maybe they have enough and they go out and they try to pick up a younger or at least more dynamic and explosive passer to replace him.
Can I calm people down just a little bit on T. Higgins as well? Because I know his target share has been low, but one thing you have to remember when someone plays the Vikings, Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator is a psychopath. And a lot of times your offensive game plan becomes your first read. You just throw at that first read because you don't have the time to wait. You don't have multiple because he's blitzing from every angle, right? So it killed his target share because no one blitzes like Laura. It's like what Todd Bowles used to be back in the Arizona days. It's just an absolute insane situation. So relax. It's going to be fine.
So Steve, you were a 2. Eric, you said like a 4 or a 5. That's kind of where you were.
Maybe a 4, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably 6, but not too far off. I'm seeing some questions come in. James, we'll get to you here in just a little bit. We want to get through a couple more of these panic meter players, and we'll address your question. I know it's a busy time in the trade markets for sure. Next one, Brock Bowers. Are we okay with Brock Bowers right now? Is this a 1 for everyone? Tight end 1 in ADP, currently tight end 8. The Raiders are throwing an absolute crap ton. He wasn't necessarily the healthiest, it seemed like.
Yeah, he wasn't healthy. Fine.
The last couple weeks. So, I mean, I went in on the over this week, and I was disappointed. He almost got some garbage time to clean it up, but it wasn't looking good through 3.5 quarters that game, Eric. So, are Steve, you're at a 1. I'm probably at a 2. Eric, where are you kind of at on Bowers?
Yeah, like a 2.5 or a 3, right? You can easily explain away the dip in performance because of that injury, but the injury is real, right? Like we don't know how long it's going to linger or affect him, right? I don't think it necessarily will, but it's not a non-factor.
I think the ADP was always too high for Brock Bowers, right? Like I think that was kind of
One-off
the
positions.
yeah.
With all of these guys.
Yep, exactly. Let's get you a 2-pack of running backs to round us out here. We'll kind of make this a group discussion. RJ Harvey for the Denver Broncos, RB21 in ADP, RB48 currently, and Isiah Pacheco, RB24 in ADP, currently RB50. He is being right now outproduced by Kareem Hunt in fantasy points. RJ Harvey has started a couple games as well for the Denver Broncos. He's been getting the first team reps, but down the stretch, they seem to really lean on J.K. Dobbins, especially when things get tight out there. So, Steve, Harvey, Pacheco, what are your panic meter ratings?
They're high. They're crazy high. It's not
Off the charts?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Harvey, I'm at a 7, and Pacheco, I'm at a 9 or a 10. I'm ready to drop him. It's not good. I don't know what Pacheco did to anybody, because you watch the games, he looks better than every other running back on the roster, and he's just getting the same amount of touches as Kareem Hunt, who looks like he's running with cement shoes. And J.K. Dobbins, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? Like, I don't know what to say. He's gotten me again. I don't know where this guy's coming from. It's unbelievable. The guy had like catastrophic after catastrophic after catastrophic injury. And
Achilles,
here he
ACL,
is. And here he is. And it just keeps happening. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It boggles the mind. It doesn't make sense medically, but he's getting it done. Pacheco, I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm panicking.
Yeah, I mean, on Harvey, like I'm a 4 or 5 because I think we just have to wait. Like there's a chance down the stretch that Dobbins gets hurt, but it's definitely not going to be the rookie season that I think we were all hoping and projecting for Harvey. And Pacheco, Eric, like I was always kind of out on him. You know me, I've been taking those late round shots on Kareem Hunt all off season. I was picking him up on waivers before they ran in week 1 as well. Like I never thought he was going to get a huge snap share here. And just doesn't seem like he has a ton of explosiveness left after that injury. I don't know. So yeah, I'm definitely like, I mean, I'm with you, Steve. I'm like a 9 or a 10 on Pacheco, but I think I was always kind of there. So expectations were a bit low for me. What about you, Eric?
Sounds like I'm pretty much in lockstep with the two of you on Isiah Pacheco. For them to force feed work to the husk of Kareem Hunt out there, and for all of these running backs to have less rushing yards than Patrick Mahomes, even it spells a pretty tough scene for really all of these running backs. It's going to be hard for any of them to gain ahead of steam, but Isiah Pacheco rebounding to what it seemed like at one point he was heading towards looks very unlikely. I'm right there with you on RJ Harvey. I think we just need to be patient, right? Like with rookie running backs, the barrier to entry to getting on the field is always pass pro. As long as he keeps taking steps forward in that in practice and week over week, we'll see him get more opportunity. And look, you mentioned some concern about his explosiveness. I mean, you look at that 50-yard play and he looked plenty explosive to me, right? So as long as he's on the field more, he'll have more opportunity to do that. And J.K. Dobbins, with his catastrophic injury after catastrophic injury, sure as heck isn't playing 17 games this year. If he does, it is an absolute upset. So I think we have to hold and be a little bit more patient with Harvey.
Here's a couple trade questions from our friend James. Would you do Keenan Allen, Goff, and Sutton for Drake London and Rashee Rice? I'd be getting Drake London and Rashee Rice. I have Allen and Hurts in a super flex league. Wow. So, wow. Okay. Where are we at here on this one, Eric? Would you make this trade? I think I would.
I probably would, as long as you had either on your roster or available on the waiver wire
a third quarterback,
any quarterback 3, right?
Yeah.
To ratchet down to just 2 quarterbacks in a super flex league is very problematic, especially when you talk about guys that put their bodies out there and run with the ball a fair amount, right?
Yeah, even if there's like a Joe Flacco or someone like that you can acquire as well.
Yeah, a Bryce Young, right? Someone that you will have the job for a good while and can get you a start if you need it, right? that as long as that's the case, I'm fine with this deal. If not, I don't want to walk down to just 2 quarterbacks.
Steve, seems like you're not as much into it, but I know you're not a Drake London or Rasheed Rice guy, really.
Yeah,
So
the Drake London truther once again proven right. What a bum.
You swap out Drake London for any FSU player, and he's doing that deal in a heartbeat.
Trey Benson.
Okay, all right. James here also asking, would you trade ETN for Chase Brown?
No.
Well, we talked about this last week. Actually, I would still. It's getting closer. The gap is narrowing, Eric, but I'd still rather Chase Brown. What about you? Because I think Tootin's coming.
I think it's still Chase Brown for that exact reason.
Okay.
I think that we're gonna see Tootin chip away at that dominant workload that ETN has had thus far.
Yeah, and he still has Henderson, Achane, Mason. Like he's got some guys here too.
Yeah, he can wait this out. Chase Brown is the leader among running backs in touch share in the entirety of the league. Forget among running backs. 49% of the offensive touches for the Cincinnati Bengals have gone through the hands of Chase Brown, right? Like, barring an injury, barring them firing the coach and them just waving the white flag on the season, if he sees this workload, better days are absolutely ahead.
Steve, I know I got after you last week for your take that you wouldn't trade ETN for Chase Brown straight up, and the YouTube comments definitely agreed with you. Let me tell you that much. So
did they really? It finally happened.
Yep.
Wait, prisoner of the moment fantasy managers like the guy that's performing better right now than the guy that has the better workload.
Hey, you know what? I was on a heater this offseason and coming in. I mean, listen, I've warned everybody about 2 guys a lot. Drake London, actually 3. London, Lad McConkey, Chase Brown. I know, but you know what? Early returns are. Steve was right.
All right.
No, I wouldn't trade ETN for Chase Brown because Chase Brown isn't good.
Let's see if you guys can keep being right here and a little off the top. Cut one coming at you.
A little off the top, ain't talking about a fade or a crop. Steady hand, know when to stop. Just a little off the top, whoa, easy now.
It's a little off the top. We're talking cut candidates ahead of week 4 because if we're making some moves on the waiver wire, especially if we're going to be getting some of these week early stashes, we got to make room for them on our roster. So we're going to do that by cutting some players. And we're going to start with cut 1, running back, gentlemen. Caleb Johnson, currently RB113, was not active here in week number 3 after that kickoff blunder in week 2. And this is a guy a lot of people are spending 6th, 7th, 8th round draft capital on. Tanks Bigsby hasn't done much with the Eagles so far. RB89, they're still working him in there. Dylan Sampson, RB28. I traded a ton for Dylan Sampson after week 1. I didn't think the Browns could possibly give this big of a workload to a guy in Quinshon Judkins who had missed the entire preseason, the entire training camp. But once again, proven the Cleveland Browns are going to Cleveland Brown. And Tyler Algier, RB42. A lot of people are upset with him. He also was conceding carries late in that blowout loss to a third stringer. So I think people have question marks. Is he the true handcuff still? And what the situation there is in Atlanta. So we're cutting all but one of these running backs. Which one of these RBs, Eric, are you keeping on your roster for the foreseeable future?
Cutting all but one?
Yes.
Oh, man. Of this lot, I'm keeping Dylan Sampson. I feel like that's a pretty clear position, right? Obviously, Quinshon Judkins looked absolutely electric, but now 3 weeks into the season, and we have 3 different Browns running backs who have led that backfield in touches, right? So we're talking about very small sample sizes in all of their regards. I also think that Dylan Sampson has a unique skill set in that backfield. So either a kind of secondary role has better line of sight for him. And, Quinshon Judkins is 1 game into this, right? I don't know if we can project this type of dominance in terms of his stranglehold on the opportunity as clearly as we can with some of the other guys that have a few people to get around in order to work their way into playing time.
Steve, I definitely want to agree with Eric, just considering the lot I gave up to go get Dylan Sampson. However, there is the situation that he only saw a few touches here. No fancy points really scored for him. There's potential that, yeah, maybe they are just buttering up Jerome Forbes to see what they can get out on the market for him. But at the same time, maybe there's a Quinshon Judkins suspension coming. So a lot of mix and match pieces here in Cleveland. Are you also hanging on to Dylan Sampson or one of these other backs?
I'm holding on to Tyler Algier. Instead of listen, in a blowout loss, Algier's a big part of their offense, right? Like they're not going to risk rolling him out there, getting him hurt in a game that's lost already. Like that's not what a handcuff does. And he's not really a handcuff. He's much more of the David Montgomery to Jahmyr Gibbs than he is like a true handcuff kind of guy. So like Sampson's, it looks like he's being phased out. I don't think Tank Bigsby's ever seeing the field again for the Eagles. He was like muffing kicks all over the place. He looked awful. And Caleb Johnson, it just doesn't look like this is going to be a year for him to do really much of anything. Yeah. And they don't really need him to because Gainwell and Warren look fine. It just doesn't seem like Tomlin trusts him. Tank Bigsby's just not very good, apparently. And Dylan Sampson, I don't really invest in Cleveland Browns all that often. Just because, no thank you. And Algier has a proven track record. This is a guy who has had 1,000-yard rushing season.
True.
I trust the talent.
Yeah. They're with you, man. I hope Dylan Sampson and Algier, like those are the two guys I think you are picking between. I think it's like see you later, Tank, see you later, Caleb Johnson. Algier, you got to hold on to just in case anything were to ever happen to Bijan. He's going to be an RB2 candidate, if not better. And you know, if you don't want Algier on your team anymore, you don't have Bijan, go offer him to the Bijan manager, maybe see what you can get, even if it's like some scraps. But I want to hold on to Sampson for a couple more weeks. I'm not willing to let go quite yet. That week one performance was quite nice. We got Angie checking in saying, good evening, fellas.
Hi, Angie.
What's up, Angie? Great to see you. A little typo action going on there saying, not UG, LOL. My phone added that. No worries there, Angie. And I wouldn't blame you if you did say UG, because some of these players we're talking about, these cut candidates, I feel that. I feel the UG. Yeah, it is. All right, guys, we're going to cut one wide receiver, not all but one, but just one of these wide receivers. They're a little bit higher of names, but still I've seen some talk out there on the internet that maybe these guys are worth dropping to the waiver wire free agency pool. Travis Hunter, currently wide receiver 74, seeing a lot more on the defense side, and that's kind of been hurting his offensive production since he stepped over there more. Calvin Ridley, wide receiver 71. It looks like it's really up to him, and Alec Ayomanor is going to be the 1A, 1B option potentially there in Tennessee. Calvin's still seeing the targets. Alec, the talented rookie coming out of Stanford, still seeing more of the production. Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver 61, had a decent week 1 and 2, but really shoddy week number 3 in that Cleveland win over Green Bay. And then Jaden Higgins, wide receiver 95, currently the rookie for the Houston Texans. Top 35 overall draft capital hasn't been enough to get him on the field over someone who I don't. Is he a Jag? Like is Xavier a Jag here, Eric? Like I don't want to say that, but is he a Jag?
I mean, he's like the Justin Watson in this offense, which is ironic because we went out and acquired and brought in Justin Watson.
So we also have Justin Watson and Xavier Hutchinson.
He's kind of like the sacrificial X type for the Texans pass catchers.
I don't want to be rude, but that's kind of how I view him as well. And so, Steve, cut one of these wide receivers, Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, Jaden Higgins. Is Higgins the obvious name, or do you think it's like worth the stash of holding on?
No, it's not, because like even if he gets on the field, what are you getting? It doesn't look good. It's not like you're excited to have the Texans wide receiver 2. Go pick one of them now. You know what I mean? Like you don't want them. They're also on the waiver wire. So their wide receiver 4 or 5 or whatever he is should be there with them.
Yeah. But what about you, Eric?
Yeah, pretty clearly Jaden Higgins, right? He's on the field for less than half of snaps, right? He's only running a handful of routes every game. It's like 12.
Why? Will that change though? Like, what are they doing, man? They used 2 of their first 3 picks on wide receivers, and they wonder why their offense sucks because they're not using them. Maybe
he's cheeks.
Yeah, I'm less inclined to say that he's cheeks. I'm more inclined to say that this offense on the whole is cheeks. I am out here absolutely planting my flag that it's time to say bye-bye to DeMeco Ryans. This experiment has run its course.
Ooh.
They have potentially ruined this young man in CJ Stroud.
2 playoff wins, 2 years?
But what happened?
This is the story of the Texans over the last decade. They make the playoffs, they win in the wild card round, and then they can never get over the hump. And now this team is lacking direction, they're lacking discipline, they're lacking vision.
So what do you
in
do?
their
Do you just
player
blow the whole
personnel
thing up?
moves.
Do you just trade CJ Stroud even?
No.
I think it should be on the table.
I think it should be on the
No.
table.
No.
I think it should be on the
Yeah.
table.
He's a franchise quarterback. I think he is. I mean, we also have gone into this conversation a few minutes without mentioning this offensive line. It's bad. It's really bad. We thought
It's actually better than it was last year. They're like
Yeah.
slightly below average instead of the worst unit in the entirety of the
He
league.
looks checked out is the problem. He just
Things-
doesn't look like he wants to be there.
He looks broken. He looks like a young quarterback who's had to learn 4 systems in 3 years and has had some of the most pressure in his face in the history of the NFL. Right? Like I'm the Texans
it's
fan.
David
in me is
Carr all
optimistic
over again.
that they turn it around. But that is not the question as to whether or not I want to get out the pitchforks and call for the firing of much of the Texans staff. And instead, the answer is Jaden Higgins barely on the field and going the wrong direction because Christian Kirk returned last week and immediately played 67% of snaps. So his opportunity is going to be pretty
droppable
sparing.
in 12-team leagues then?
Yeah.
Droppable in 10-team
Droppable in
leagues.
14.
14?
Yeah, 14s.
16? You're hanging on 16, right? Yeah. There's not better.
It gets gross out there.
Okay. A couple questions here before we get to one more. Cut one question. First one coming from our gal Angie saying, do you think Pickens will start looking better in the Dallas offense? Really expected him to step up, but looked terrible this week without Lamb. I think he'll get better. I think better days are ahead for George Pickens, but it's going to be tough without CeeDee Lamb. I think he's going to get, double cover and he's going to get shadowed a lot. Eric, what's your take on this as someone who really studies cornerback wide receiver matchups weekly?
Yeah, I mean, I guess incrementally better, right? He should see more volume and that should raise his floor a little bit. But the nature of George Pickens is one that is inherently boom or bust, right? So he'll have some spike weeks, he'll make some spectacular plays and look like he is among the elite in the wide receiver core across the league. And then he'll have other weeks where it's bouncing off of his hands and he can't separate. So I think it's largely more of the same for George Pickens, maybe a tiny uptick to his floor.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the target share is not where we want it to be, right? 17.1%. I think we need to see that come up. I think we will. He's getting red zone targets, though. Like that's the one thing, he's getting that.
That's why he's boom or bust, right?
Yeah.
It's also, it brings up a good point. Like when a team and an offense loses a focal point player mid-game, you can't really read too much into how they use those players for the rest of the game, right? At that point, they're reacting to something that they weren't accounting for. They're going to adjust their game plan to account for the guys they have available on the field going forward. So take whatever you see with these mid-game injuries with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting separation too, right? Like routes one versus man. He's number one. He's best right now in the league against man coverage. So I want to see Dak put it on to him. James, I'm seeing another trade question for you. Go ahead and can you drop that full trade? I think you're referring back to a previous question. Would you guys trade Quinshaw Judkins or Monty? I have JT and Barkley. Or would you guys start, Quinshaw Judkins or Monty? I have JT and Barkley as my other.
Give me Montgomery.
Is he asking
yes.
either of these guys over JT or Barkley?
No,
or
I think just out of the two. Flex, yeah.
I'll probably go Judkins here.
Browns playing the Lions playing the Browns. So same game. Yeah, Judkins feels a little bit safer. That Browns defense has been kind of swarming around out there. So yeah, but
they are good. But
when does Monty do well in blowouts, right? Like or high scoring games from Lions? Steve, where are you here in Judkins and Monty?
I'm going Montgomery just because I need to see more out of Judkins before I'm ready to I mean, Monty did just go like absolutely nuclear. So it's not like
it's hard to sit him after that. Yeah, it's hard to sit. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm actually with you. It's close to me, but I think that's an either or one. Daniel, I'm 0-3. Need to shake up. I give Bijan, McBride, Ladd, and JCM. I receive Chase, Kyron, Javonte, Hunter Henry. No, don't, brother. No, dude, listen, Daniel. I've been there. I'm there in a couple leagues right now where I shouldn't be 0-3, and I'm 0-3. Just hold on, brother. Hold on. You are giving up the best player potentially in fantasy. You're giving up the best tight end in fantasy. You're giving up two other startable players, and you're getting other people who are kind of on the tick down here. Would you agree, Eric?
Does it matter if this is Chase Brown or Jamar Chase?
It's a worse trade if it's Chase Brown.
I mean, yeah. I don't think it matters.
Jamar.
I don't think it matters. So I don't think I would do.
No,
this
you're not doing
either
that.
way.
Yeah, I don't think I would do it either. Generally, like, you're not going to be happy making like 3-for-3 or 4-for-4 trades. It's just like it completely flips your roster and your build on its head. I don't mind the idea of going out and trying to sell somewhat high on Bill Krosky Merritt.
And Ladd. Like,
well, I mean, you're not selling high on Ladd, but yeah. If you want to try to kind of parse this down a little bit to maybe like a 2-for-1, if you wanted to go like JCM and Ladd for
Chase
for an upgrade at wide receiver, if you could pull off Chase, that would be dope. I don't know if you could, but that would be
I'd try that.
Incredible.
Yeah, you probably can, because week 3 people are still holding on to their pre-draft rankings. Pretty hard.
Yeah. Is Caleb Williams a reliable quarterback? I mean,
fantasy wise, yes. Real life, no.
What do you think, Eric? How have you felt about Caleb Williams so far this year?
Is he reliable? No. QB9, QB20, what will likely be QB like 1 or 2, depending on your format, right? Like the ebbs and flows make it hard to label him as reliable. He should be on the fantasy radar. If you need a spot start, he's a great option. But I need to see more consistent weeks of 20 plus fantasy points before I'm really willing to give him that reliable tag.
I like what I've
seen. Trending up.
Yeah,
he's trending up. It's just I wouldn't call him reliable.
Yeah, the rushing upside I saw earlier in the season made me really excited, and then didn't really run as much last week, and he didn't need to. He was just kind of dotting the Cowboys up for 4 touchdowns. So
that game was over 2.5 quarters in.
Yeah, I think Caleb Williams is just someone like you have someone else ready to go as well, right? You kind of siphon back, whether it's at the spot on your bench, you're just kind of streaming. Like I'm okay with Caleb Williams. He's quarterback 3 right now. Like it could be worse. He hasn't really had a low floor this season. So I think he's reliable, but I think, I wouldn't mind having a spot to stream as well. But appreciate the questions, guys. Let's go ahead. And we do have one more cut one question. And Steve, I'll turn it over to you as our resident movie expert. We're cutting one fall movie this autumn season.
Yeah, one of these got to go. And your options are Remember the Titans, a sports drama based on the true story of the T.C. Williams High School football team, starring Denzel Washington.
Of course.
You got Good Will Hunting, based right here in my hometown of Boston. 97 drama film about a janitor at MIT, Will Hunting, who possesses extraordinary mathematical talent, but he struggles with personal demons and emotional issues, and his therapist is Robin Williams. You got The Goonies. Eric, a childhood movie of yours. Classic adventure comedy film about a group of kids who embark on a treasure hunt. Or you got a more recent movie, Knives Out. Daniel Craig leads an 11-actor ensemble cast as Benoit Blanc, a famed private detective who is summoned to investigate the death of the best-selling author Harlan Thrombey. And then you got October Sky.
Yes.
Story of Homer H. Hickam Jr., a coal miner's son who was inspired by the launch of Sputnik 1 in 1957 to take up rocketry against his father's wishes and eventually become a NASA engineer.
All right.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah. Who
in the blue heck picked October Sky?
It's in the title. It's a fall movie, brother. October Sky. Let's go.
That's just a bad movie, though. Like, why'd you pick it?
Well, let's get into it here. So, obviously, Steve, your cut one of these fall movies is October Sky. Then,
yeah. If it was if October Sky didn't exist, I'll make it more interesting. If October Sky didn't exist, it would be The Goonies.
Okay. Wow. Okay, Eric, your thoughts here on the slanderous comments from Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna opt out of this dialogue in protest. I feel like these movies were hand chosen and specifically picked to underscore the fact that I'm old, because I'm clearly going to cut the one contemporary movie, Knives Out. October Sky is the other movie that is in consideration there. Apart from those two, you're talking about 3 of the Mount Rushmore of films out there that have no business being anywhere near a cut list. October Sky, it's a little bit more nostalgic. This was like classic substitute teacher in science. They would roll in the TV and fire
that's
off
where I
October
watched it for
Sky,
the first time. Yes,
right. So like it's got some personal feels for me. It's not a incredible film by any means, but this whole like quippy whodunit mass production style of Knives Out is just not for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. Like I thought Knives Out was fun. I thought it was a good story. I enjoyed, what was the second one? Glass Onion?
Glass Onion.
But like to me, they all kind of run the same, right? Like they don't really have much difference.
Okay, well I'm
like,
not asking you to like the whole like series here. It's just one movie. October Sky is such the obvious choice. If we polled the entire United States, first off, 80% of them wouldn't know what October Sky is.
Well, let us know down in the comments below and in the live chat, guys. Your one fall movie.
This has got to be a 2-part question. Part 1: has a substitute teacher ever played October Sky for you?
No, they haven't.
If yes, are you cutting this? Right?
Yeah.
Because that is very much so the line of demarcation.
You can't cut Goonies, man. That was
a substitute teacher movie for me, and I didn't like it. Yeah.
That was
you get out of pocket. What are we doing?
Yeah, you get home.
What are we doing, Boston area public schools?
Yeah, I was about to say
we had a day it was an English class, like in high school, and we watched the Goonies, like, and I'm like, this movie's bad. Like,
no, the Goonies is great.
English class, the poet laureate Chunk is just firing off worse and
oh my god, it's our time. It's our time down here. It's
Shoot! Oh, come on! It's great. Good. It's great. No, it's great. I love I thought it was impressive, like the production of that movie and like all the special effects and stuff they had back in the 80s. I thought it was really great.
Practical effects.
The setting,
right in the feels.
Yeah,
I do like a good practical effect movie. I will give it that.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, let's get to some more fantasy football, though. I'm seeing some more questions come into the chat. We'll get to those in just a couple minutes. But first, I want to get to a little bit of waivers a week early and in the scope.
Requesting permission to engage.
In the scope.
Just a reminder to everyone, the easiest free way to support us here at IBT. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. Also, make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're new. Here at the IBT podcast, we like to give you a refreshing take on fantasy football and NFL gambling advice, and a little hint of pop culture in there for you as well. We're talking week 4 stashes, who will be week 5's main waiver wire targets. They're currently under 25% rostered on ESPN leagues. And gentlemen, I really tried to go deep in the waters once again. I really wanted to get a hold of this. I thought we had a great week last week. Steve, you called it Alec Pierce, who had once again a really great game going until he fell off a little bit towards the end of that after getting injured. And then
when he domed himself, like that was a bit of a turning point.
I had Jeremy McNipples, and he did have a touchdown, not the usage I was looking for. Maybe it was Chris Rodriguez was the guy I should have shouted out there, but still, if you played anytime tutty on McNipples, he got through for you. Eric, who was your in the scope last week? I can't even remember.
I had my guy Isaac Tesla, who did not produce anything on the field, but saw more playing time and saw more targets, which is exactly what we were hoping for.
Well, I'm in the thick of it. I think I have the most under the radar guy that you're not going to have to spend any fab on. You can go get him pretty much for free whenever this week. And it is Okonkwo, tight end for the Tennessee Titans. 15.1% roster right now over on ESPN. And look, I think the Titans are worse than I could have imagined. Like, yes, I am the guy who did put a little long shot Super Bowl play on him to maybe cash out some value. I thought 250 to 1 was too long. I don't think it is. I was watching that game against the Colts. I was in the lower screen for me. And I just thought, wow, this is a bad team. But because of that, they're always trailing. Therefore, they have the 7th highest passing rate right now in the NFL at 62%. And Chig himself, 14th in targets among the position, averaging 5 per game, the 3rd most on the team. Right now, he's pretty much just behind Ellick for that 2nd target, which we know to be a productive fantasy tight end. You usually have to get to that. Who knows, though? Maybe something happens to Calvin Ridley. Maybe he's moved down the stretch if this team continues to struggle. And right now, Chig still playing 80% snaps, has a 16% first read target share as well. Number one in target separation among tight ends. So he is getting separation. Based on what I've seen from Cam Ward in college when he helped Elijah Arroyo get drafted on day 2, what I've seen from him in the pros as well, he's been targeting running backs at a very low rate. And I think that was a little bit of an oversight on my part when I went out and, really drafted a ton of Tony Pollard. I think Cam likes to tuck in and run a little bit, but I think more than anything, he likes to keep his eyes downfield to find receivers and tight ends. So I think realistically that Chig should be someone that is on the radar for tight end needy leagues. Does he have tight end 1 upside? Maybe, but it's like tight end 10 to 12 probably. But I think he's probably someone out there, like once you get past the Zach Ertz and the Jawan Johnson and then Dallas Goedert. So I think he's kind of in that next tier, and I think he leads them. Like I'd rather have Chig, I think, at this point than Brenton Strange, a guy I've been trying to make happen all off season long. So give me a little Chig, Okonkwo here. And Steve, I'll throw it over to you for your in the scope target. A guy who I'm not sure if you'll have to spend fab on him or not, because he is becoming a bit more popular after, a big performance in week number 3, despite not a ton of production in the prior 2 weeks.
Yeah, I also love does he have tight end 1 upside? Maybe. I was like, that was sick. Way to just dodge that entirely. Luther Burden. I heard it said in the preseason, and Ben Johnson believes in this. Throw a block, get the rock. That's Ben Johnson's mentality. And Luther Burden, weirdly, is like the best blocking wide receiver on the Chicago Bears right now. Like, this man is out there, and that was not something he was great at in college, but he's out here like kind of like a torpedo. And you're seeing him get more involved and more involved. And what else you're seeing is DJ Moore's looking less involved and less involved and less involved. Like, it's not looking good for DJ Moore. Romo Dunze seems to be the guy there. Colston Loveland isn't turning into a thing right now. But Luther Burden, they're using him as a gadget player. They're getting him involved. The running game isn't what it needs to be. So I'm thinking, does Burden get into the backfield a little bit more? Does he get those slot work? Does he get some gadget plays drawn up for him every week? I can live with that. I can live with that in a Ben Johnson offense. Most offenses I can with Ben Johnson. So give me Luther Burden, just for like that. You never know when he's going to get a flea flicker for a 50-yard touchdown.
My thing is you can't predict that. And I don't want a guy who, while he had a huge game, he still only played 29% of snaps. I guess that's where I am on Burden. Like, the production hasn't been there for DJ Moore, but he's still out there a ton. He's still running 90% of snaps. He's still seeing 5 to 6 targets a game, like not where we want him at, but I don't know. Like I'd rather have Zacchaeus, I think, at this point, who at least is seeing, right around 5.5 targets per game. But
I think they drafted this guy pretty high for a reason.
They did, but until they show me they're willing to play him more at 30% of snaps, I'm good.
That's why I'm a week early.
This has Marvin Mims written all over it, but maybe you are early. And Eric, you're also going to bat for another rookie down there in your hometown of Houston. What do you have?
Yeah, Woody Marks, the guy that this front office identified and went and sent out significant draft capital to move up and acquire. This has obviously been a guy who I've been putting on the radar for quite some time now, that, the idea being that his opportunity will slowly emerge in this Texans offense. And we're kind of getting to that point through 3 weeks. Week number 1, 11% snap share, 27% in week number 2. 48% in week number 3. We're talking about a competitive game where he is now all of a sudden on the field about as much as Nick Chubb. So he has earned his way into a 50-50 share. The efficiency stats aren't going to blow you away. There's nothing that's going to jump off the page about his work as a ball carrier. But with these rookies, they can get on the field and they are the more explosive of the available runners. We do think that will normalize over the course of time. What's particularly interesting about him, in addition to the snap percentage walking up and up and up, his ability as a receiver out of the backfield is really starting to flash. We're talking about a guy who, granted with limited opportunities, is seeing 23 yards per reception and 3.7 yards per route run. That is better than guys like Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Devon Achane. Obviously, that will settle in as his amount of targets continues to walk up, but he's flashing some of the upside that made him a day 2 pick that they traded up to acquire, and he's seeing the field more. I think this is exactly the type of guy that you go out and scoop up for free right now, knowing that in a week or 2 or 3, the breakout is coming.
Yeah, I mean, Dare Ogunbowale has been completely replaced in this game by Woody Marks. Woody has replaced him, so it really is looking closer to a 50-50 split. Woody Moore is that change of pace guy. He's going to get some of those receptions and targets as well. Nick Chubb seeing a little bit of that, but Nick Chubb definitely the early down thumper. He's going to get some of that goal line work. So you're getting more of the between the 20s work with Woody Marks, but I think he should absolutely be rostered. And Nick Chubb does have a history of injuries as well, so Woody Marks, I think, is someone who should certainly be on 100% of rosters right now in 12-man leagues. So really like that call out there from you, Eric. Woody Marks, make sure you guys have him circled. And let's get to a couple questions here before we get out of In the Scope and into the betting part of the show. We do have a question here from Chandler. I streamed Mariota last week with Purdy out, and he's, in case he's out again, dropped Fields last week. If he's good to go, is he worth a start? 6-point passing and rushing touchdown league. Who should he be streaming this week here? Is it Mariota? Do you go back out and get Fields? We do have Mariota, and we don't know if he's going to be active in this one. It's against Atlanta, or we have Purdy, who could be up this week.
I'd do Fields over Purdy.
Yeah, against Miami.
About? What are we doing?
Against Miami? Is that where you are?
Yeah, rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, if Fields is out there, it's clearly Fields of this lot.
It's a low floor. Like, we saw it again even before he got hurt a couple weeks ago, but we know what the ceiling is. It's like QB1 overall, like he was in week 1 or close to it. So
yeah, I blame the play calling in that game. That was like a weird run pass game.
Yeah. So definitely
still happen.
Yeah,
right? You're leaning into that volatility, but the upside is immense.
Yeah, definitely right. Fields though. Who am I streaming this week? Geno, Purdy, Fields, Mariota.
Fields.
I'd say Fields again, and if not Fields, if you can't,
then Mariota.
Get him. I'd say Geno.
I like the running. I like a runner.
I know, but Geno against the Bears, Geno's also been passing for like over 300 per game and has a ton of touchdowns too. So I'd go Geno or Fields here. What about you, Eric?
It's certainly Fields if he plays. I'll lead towards Geno if he doesn't. Number 8 in pass attempts per game. Volume goes a long way in terms of leading to fantasy production.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys besides Fields are kind of the same.
Chandler's
which one you pick.
Chandler's asking, I've lost Connor, Lamb, Evans, Terry. Need help in my flex bad. I've got Short, Trusky, Marriott, Woody Marks, Kirk, Moody, Cup, and Franklin. Moody? What am I? Jake Moody? Oh, okay. Mooney. Okay. Franklin, PPR. I would have to add one. I have Worthy, but not sure if he plays or 100%. I mean, Bill Krosky Merritt should certainly be picked up if he's out there right now. Same with Cooper Kupp, I guess. Those would probably be my options. But if you wanted to go Kirk or Franklin, I guess have at it. But it's Merritt and Kirk to me.
Yeah, Bill. Go with Bill. It's not sexy though. My God, I'm so sorry to this.
Poor
Chandler.
gentleman.
I am so sorry. That is brutal.
Yeah. Eric, are you with Bill here too? Bill.
Definitely Bill. If I'm picking a second one, I might lean towards Franklin over Kupp. I can be persuaded either way, honestly.
Yeah. Would you drop Troy Franklin for Trey Tucker? You can.
Yes.
But I'm not spending a ton of fab on to do it. That's the thing. I'm not spending fab on it to do it.
I think
this is a waiver move. I think you can do it.
Yeah, I think Troy Franklin had his best game of the season.
Yeah, he's still out there a ton though. It's definitely him. He's definitely
but
Denver's
I think that's what I'm saying is I think he had what will be his best game of the season.
I mean, there's a great. Certainly.
And Trey Tucker did not.
Yeah, Trey Tucker.
They've likely both had their best games of the season.
Yeah, but I think Trey Tucker could have more good games than Troy Franklin will.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Trey Tucker's been around for a freaking minute, dude, and he's playing the snaps. It looks like it is him over Thornton and over Jack Best right now. So I just wonder how long that remains the case. Do they reward him for catching those bombs or what? I don't know.
I mean, they should.
I think it's Franklin here. The offense is more effective on the whole, and if everything goes according to plan, Troy Franklin is their second receiving option, whereas if everything goes according to plan for the Raiders, Trey Tucker is probably their third, if not maybe their fourth receiving option.
That's a fair point.
Appreciate all the questions, guys. We'll try to get to them as quickly as we can. Easiest way to support us, again, a reminder, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're new as well. Hang high. Would you trade BTJ, Josh Jacobs, Travis Hunter for Amon-Ra, Judkins, and Scatterboo, half-point PPR?
Yes. Yes, I
No.
would.
No.
What do you mean no?
Maybe. I don't know.
What
do you think?
guy's holding this up? Who's holding this up? The best player in the deal is coming back to you in Amon-Ra.
Yeah, but you're giving up the second and third best player, in my opinion, in Judkins or Josh Jacobs and BTJ.
What is BTJ's a boob?
Eric, where are you at on this one? I just don't see
I'm fine with it, assuming that you've got some good running back depth.
Yeah.
We're very bullish. I am very bullish on Quinshon Judkins and what Cam Scatterboo can be, but we're again talking about 1 game sample sizes.
Yeah.
So you can't project that out as well.
It's risky.
You're absorbing a bit more risk if you do this. So if you have Tony Pollard types or J.K. Dobbins types that are on your bench now, to where you can at least find some decent floor while these running back situations settle out a little bit. Yeah. No, I mean, it's awesome to get him on Raw. Josh Jacobs is up there in my running back rankings, right? I care less about BTJ. We're at the point of the fantasy season where depth really starts to show its face. And so sending out a top flight running back is always problematic.
Oh, you got Henderson.
So
You're good. Bye, Josh. See you later.
Got 3 rookies. I don't know.
One of them's bound to hit.
Okay, we got to get some more questions here, but hang, we're pretty toss up on that, but it does seem like the guys like it. I traded Judy, Addison, and Pollard for Javonte, Ladd, Mike Evans. Did you win or not? Yeah, you won.
Yeah, you won.
I mean, honestly, that's like vetoable. I'm going to be honest with you. That's a terrible trade.
No, it's not. Vetoes should not exist in fantasy football.
Vetoes should not exist in fantasy
football. I mean,
that's Mike Evans is Mike Evans is 100. This is not a vetoable trade.
Start 2, DJ Moore, Pittman, Waddle, Jalen Warren.
Waddle and Pittman.
Really? We're out on DJ Moore this week?
DJ Moore
gets like 2 targets and 2 carries a game.
It's against the Raiders, though.
Cheeks.
Sure.
I don't know, man. All right, I'll give it to you guys. That's fine, but yeah, I don't want anything to do with that Minnesota Steelers game. Start 2, Javonte, Swift, Myers. I mean,
Swift and Javonte.
Yeah, you've got it in the right order.
Yep, I'm with you. Start 1, Darnold, Fields. Yeah, start 1 if no Fields this week. Darnold, Geno, Rodgers, Stafford, Geno for me, easy.
Yeah, probably Geno.
Who do the Rams have? I don't know why I'm blanking on this.
The Rams this week, the Los Angeles
We got
Rams.
the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Geno.
Yeah. Would you trade?
Wait, that's a Dart in that too. Dart was an option.
I'm not starting Dart in his first.
I'm starting
game,
Dart.
Dog. All right.
We're throwing darts.
All right. Maybe you should smoke some darts and chill out.
Hey, if everyone listen to me in the offseason.
Would you trade Kenneth Walker and Drake May for Jaden Daniels and Trey Benson?
1,000%.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah,
Trey Benson.
Yeah.
Why the pause? Was that just for a dramatic effect?
I really liked Drake May and Kenneth Walker in the preseason. I had to make the registration in my head that Trey Benson was changed. Will you trade Sticky Ricky for Sutton? I have Bo Nix, so I want the stack. If the owner says no, would you trade Nix and Ricky for Murray and Harrison?
No,
I'm not doing either one of those deals. I'm good.
I do Pearsall for Sutton. I'd want Sutton.
I'm good with Sticky Ricky. I think it's a lateral move at best.
Isn't Sutton outscoring
I view this as kind of lateral. Honestly, in a redraft context, I don't like two stack as much, right? One bad week, like we saw in two different games last week, can really have your whole lineup going sideways. So I would rather have Ricky and Bo, although I like Sutton more than Ricky in a vacuum.
I would sell my left kidney for Pollard on my team right now. I feel you, Chandler. I got a couple of those squads right now as well. Do I trade Judkins and Ridley for Olave and Jalen Warren?
Why?
Yes.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Yeah. I think you're getting the two better players. You just have to bank on health for Olave. That's kind of the thing. I would rather have Olave than Ridley. And I think Jalen Warren, probably I'd rather have a little less than Judkins, but I think it's close, right?
I am so mad at the Titans for making me miss Will Levis because I have Calvin Ridley in leagues. It's just infuriating.
Yeah, I mean, because he can start Olave this week in place of Terry for him too. So I'm doing this deal. What about you, Eric? No for Liam.
I don't think I am. It's lateral in my mind. Of these four, I think the most explosive upside resides with Judkins. So if we're talking about trading guys that aren't going to break your starting lineup, I like to get a little bit more of that lottery ticket effect.
I did see a stat today that Olave is on pace for like 205 targets, but he's only on pace for like 930.
Yeah, it's absurd.
It's not great.
Trone,
Spencer Rattler.
Trone, how much fab would you spend on Dart in a Superflex league? $200 fab budget, Russ second quarterback, a ton.
200, all of it, 100%.
Pretty close to it, yeah.
I mean, I would need to know if it's like a 12.
There's no other quarterback.
Yeah,
on the wire.
I would need to know who else is on your waiver wire right now. Like, throw a couple of the top names this week. Like, is it 12 team? Is it 14, 10?
Is there a single starting quarterback other than Jackson Dart on your waiver wire?
Yeah, we'll loop back to you, Tron. Let's
you have
a
a
little
ton
more
of
details.
roster space where you can stash backups.
But I'm willing to spend a ton, yeah, if that's the case, because that could make or break your season. Steve is kind of right. Like, I don't know if I'd spend 100, but I'd make sure I got him. Do you think my offer of BTJ, J.K. Dobbins, and MPJ for Omarion Hampton and Drake London will get accepted?
Oh, Michael Penix. Oh, no, I don't.
No, I don't think so either. I wouldn't take that deal if I have Drake London and Hampton either. No way.
I mean, you're absolutely floating an offer for Omarion Hampton when his stock is the highest that it's going to be, right? Like, this is his opportunity to completely take this backfield by the reins, and we haven't seen it for a full game, so people are daydreaming about how he could potentially be the running back one, right? Like, it's going to take a lot to pry him away from someone.
Patrick, do I pick up Trey Tucker or Wicks this week to play them, or trade a running back right now? His receivers, he's down Lamb, he's got Coleman, he's got Tedorow, he's got Coleman. Running backs, he's got Chase Brown, Javonte, Mason, Aaron Jones, Benson. I mean, yeah, I would probably consider trading like
trade Chase Brown. Gotta get out of it now. It's time to get out.
No, you don't.
It's not going to get better.
This is such like categorically bad advice.
It's like, absolutely not. Because if you listened to me last week when I gave you the advice, it would have been even better.
You'd be lucky to get a kicker in the market for Chase Brown.
No, you can still get Chase Brown. You can. No one's trading Chase Brown for anything less than like decent or good players because they still have that pre-draft brain.
That's untrue.
No, you won't trade much for him, but guys will not trade much away. Like, will not give him away. So you got to get out of it now. It's only going to get worse.
Absolutely, it is going to get better.
All right, guys, we could beat this to death. We do have to keep it moving here. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think you should give up one of your running backs though, because like it's not like you're. Yeah, it's not like, I mean, you got four of them, but
yeah, you got a lot of.
The clear trade choice is Mason. He is easily the highest stocked player.
Well, if you're giving up Mason, you might as well give him and Jones to get something lit. Then that's pretty much what you could get. Yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah,
get a starting receiver and a depth piece at running back for those two.
Nimble's asking what he does with T. Higgins. Hey, dude, we feel you. We talked about him a little bit a while ago, like maybe around like the 25-minute mark or so. Go back and check that out for that discussion. Trone, 14 teams, Superflex, no starting quarterbacks on the waiver. Yeah, you're paying 100%. A ton, man. Make sure you go get your guy. Go get your guy for sure. All right, guys, let's round out the show here. Betting cards coming your way in between bets for NFL Week 4. Let's hit it.
between bets. Between bets.
It's between bets. It's our week 4 NFL betting cards. Make sure you guys are tapping into the channel, subscribing if you're new. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. And in week 3, first NFL weekend in the red for me, guys. 2-6 on the picks. Lost a lot on that CeeDee Lamb injury. I mean, lost 3 units on him. Had him for the anytime touchdown contest. Had him for an anytime TD for 2 units. I was also heavy on him for a parlay as well, so that one hurt. Did hit the Ashton Jeanty over 15.5 rushing attempts for 2 units, and the Cam Scatterboo 10+ rushing attempts for 2 units as well, even money. Eric, how's the betting card for you in week 3?
Pretty tough scene. 2 and 3 in the money line spread and totals market. 1 of 4 in the props market. My Joe Flacco pass attempts ladder finally came crumbling down. But it was all saved and revived by one of my favorite traditions, targeting backup quarterbacks and parlaying their interception with their opposing defenses to score an anytime touchdown.
Wow.
We binked that both on Jake Browning for plus 850 and on Tyrod Taylor for plus 1,200 at a quarter unit each. So all that was wrong with the world is made up for by my backup F-up parlays.
Steve, what about you, man?
I broke even.
Okay. All right. Well, we're getting there, man. You had some good plays. I questioned you on a couple of your spreads, and you went out there, and the frisky Jets kept it frisky. So let's get back into it. Let's keep swinging here in week number 4. We're seeing the field all right now. So let's see if we can get it even better here. What do you have, Eric? Starting with you in the ATS market.
Yeah, there's a lot that I like in the ATS market and really in the ATS and Moneyline market to start the week. The one that jumps out to me is the Seattle Seahawks laying 1.5 on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. ESPN bet has given this to you over at plus 199. So absolutely love the price tag that you can get that over there in what looks to be a bit of a promotional rate. But the Seattle Seahawks are a legitimate top to bottom team. And the Arizona Cardinals simply cannot get out of their own way, right? So, being able to get a Seahawks team at just laying 1.5 when the Cardinals feel like they, despite their record, are one of the biggest paper tigers in the NFL feels like a bit of a gainer to me.
Okay. And Steve, you have a play on the underdog of all underdogs here against the spread. What do you got down there in the Big Easy?
Yeah, this is a stupid spread. Like, this is dumb. Give me 16.5 points for the New Orleans Saints against the Buffalo Bills. No professional football game should have a 16.5 point spread. This is goofy. This is a goofy number of points. Like, that's insane. And I know the Saints just got, dog walked this week, but, that doesn't happen very often in the NFL. It really doesn't. Usually teams get up by a gazillion, even if they're up by 28 points, right? All that takes is for them to kind of throw it into cruise control for the fourth quarter. The Saints throw up 2 touchdowns. All of a sudden they win by, 15, 14 points and they cover the spread. If you're giving me, usually my rule is if there's a double digit spread, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Steve, you also have feelings on this game out there in Dublin where I have no interest in getting invested, but you are liking some potential action down there on Vikings Steelers.
I do, because defense travels, and the Minnesota Vikings, they got a defense because Brian Flores, like I said, is a lunatic, and there's not enough offensive weapons in Pittsburgh to counteract it. The offensive line isn't good enough. Aaron Rodgers isn't mobile enough. This might be a day that we watch Aaron Rodgers just get absolutely pummeled into the ground, or shillelagh'd, as they say over there in good old Ireland. I got the Vikings all day long, every day, plus Wednesday. You know what I mean? This is going to be kind of a dog walk as well, I think.
Eric, you're seeing this a different way, though.
Yeah, I am. I think this is a bit of an overcorrection. I actually have Minnesota coming back to earth a fair bit, right? I think that the Steelers are a competitive defense. I don't think that Minnesota is quite what we saw them to be last week. And in turn, I actually have the Steelers on the money line. I like getting plus 130 for them in a game that I think is going to be fairly competitive and should probably come down to the last drive of the game. So give me the plus money with the Steelers over there in Ireland.
You also have another live money dog here you're betting.
Yeah. In this case, looking at the home doggies, those being the Kansas City Chiefs again, plus 130 on the money line via our friends over at DraftKings, coming up against the Baltimore Ravens, who while their offense has looked pretty dynamic, have found their ways into some pretty close games against competitive teams so far. I'm really trying to take advantage of some closing line action. I think that if we find out that Xavier Worthy is playing, for example, this number is going to change dramatically. So I want to get in now while you can still get plus 130 for the Chiefs at home.
And Steve, you also have a money line play. You're taking us to the Thursday night affair, Seattle, Arizona.
Yeah, Eric and I are really weirdly oppositional this week in our bets because I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals to win outright against the Seattle Seahawks. I don't think the Seahawks are as good as they appear, and I think the Cardinals are better than we think. And Trey Benson gets the start this week, which means their more dynamic, explosive running back is there.
Surprise.
To kind of carry the load here. I like it. I like an infusion of energy, and I always think that, and this feels like a game, and I'm going to say this, and y'all are going to be like, oh my God, it happened. This is a get-right game for Marvin Harrison right here. I'm sure he's heard it.
I think this is accurate.
I think this is going to be a real revenge game for him. We're going to see like flashes of the guy that we thought we were getting this game, and Seattle's going to have no way to combat that.
Man, these are two games I want nothing to do with, honestly. Like short week for the Seahawks and the Cardinals after pretty physical Sunday games, and then I just don't want anything to do with the Steelers and Minnesota. These are two teams who haven't played a ton overseas, and I just don't want to get invested with them.
The Cardinals also, as an athlete, or an ex-athlete, I guess, but when you lose a leader to an injury, there is a galvanization that happens amongst the people. You kind of get depressed in the moment, but then you start to do it for James kind of deal. Like, so James Conner goes down. This team is going to try to rally around that, and they may come out with some fire in their ass this game.
Okay. And Eric, you also have a play for us when it comes back to the total market.
Yeah, going to the complete other end of the schedule, looking at one of the Monday night tilts. The Jets, and the Miami Dolphins are currently rocking a 44.5 point total. This is probably because at various points this season, their offenses have looked a little bit anemic, but their defenses are fertile ground. Miami, the worst team in the league, allowing 32.3 points per game. The Jets not far off there, 31 points flat allowed by their defenses. We also, I believe, we get good news on Justin Fields, who has an extra day to make his way back from concussion protocol, are probably going to see this number walk up to 45.5, 46.5 or more. So happy to take it at the over at 44.5. On my personal card, I'm probably going to be teasing this one out and looking at some alt totals as well.
Okay, fair enough. For me, I'm going to the player props market, guys. I have had the most success in this market than I have really in a couple years. I've been seeing the field well there as compared to the game line. So I'm going to go ahead and put it here. These are not official plays. I don't have these set in stone yet. We do not have these lines open, but these are ones I'm currently leaning on and hope to play if I get the right numbers. Again, follow me on socials at between_SethFF. Join the IBT football family. Again, you'll get my full card as we head into the weekend here. First, give me TreVeyon Henderson on the over rushing attempts. I think the Patriots have to use him after the fumbles to Stevenson and Gibson last week. BP consensus line right now, they're showing that they think it's going to open up closer to 6.5. Right now, Henderson was averaging 6.3 carries per game after 11 last week. He's playing the Panthers, who have allowed the third most rushing yards this season at a 5.7 yards per carry clip. So if this is truly, New England area, Boston in the fall, they're going to want to lean on that ground game. And whether it's the rushing attempts or if I can get that rushing yards mark back where it's been the last couple weeks at 25.5, I'll take one of those on TreVeyon Henderson to have a little bit better of a run out than he has the first couple weeks. Also, give me Ray Davis over on the rushing attempts or the rushing yards. I've seen the internet. I know he was a very popular play last Thursday night. Did not come through for a lot of people who had him in a parlay. But look, I think the Bills got more than what they bargained for against the Dolphins, and that game was very close. So Ray Davis remained on the shelf a lot like in week 1 when they had a tight one against the Ravens. In week 2, though, when they were blowing out the Jets, Ray Davis got 9 totes for 24 yards. BP has this line projected right around 5.5 attempts, 20.5 yards. This might be a parlay for both of them, honestly, if you can get those numbers. The Saints have allowed game logs to the following backup running backs, gentlemen. 6 for 69 to your boy, Trey Benson, Steve. Brian Robinson also went 6 for 20. Seattle's Seahawks running backs, yes, these are real players. Jarcadia Wright went for 5 for 20, and George Holani 10 for 27. So the point is here, I think the Bills get out in front. I think they're controlling this one. I think they give James Cook a bit of a rest. I think it's Ray Davis who bats cleanup for him. And then also give me a little Ashton Jeanty on the over receptions. BP, again, projection this line right around 2.5. I would take that there. If we can even, potentially drink some juice, get it at 1.5, I would do that as well. I said it earlier in the program. This is the Joe Boo game for Ashton Jeanty. The Raiders have to realize they need to use him in the passing game. We need screens. We need designed RPOs for this guy because their line's bad, and they need to try to overcome that with some quick outs to someone like Ashton Jeanty, who is a great receiver as well as a good running back. So 4 running backs have currently hit this line against the Bears this season. Yes, we've only had 3 games. Aaron Jones, Jahmyr Gibbs, and last week, Javonte Williams had 5 receptions, and Miles Sanders also had 3 receptions as well. So those are my plays right there for you this week. In addition, let's get to the touchdown call contest, guys, and we're updating the board here. Shout out to our guy Trav, Trav has been absolutely crushing it this year. Trav has 7 touchdown calls correct right now. Jake Perry with 6. Steve stays at 4. Rob stays at 4. I'm at 3, so not much movement for Steve, Rob, and I. We all missed out last week. Eric with 3. He got 2 from Jordan Mason last week. James Danielson back on the board with 3. Ben with 2. Tyler and Trash bringing up the rear with 1 each. Guys, if you want to get invested with the touchdown call contest, a reminder, the easiest way to do so, join the IBT football family. You're going to get access to our Discord community where you can ask us questions all day long. So if we don't get to any of them when we're live on the channel, we'll make sure we can get to them over there in the chat 24/7, 365. You can also enter our memorabilia giveaways, and you're going to get our full weekly betting cards. Eric and Steve's plays for NFL and my plays for NFL and college football. And you're going to get access into this touchdown call contest where you can win yourself a sweet Dynasty Dex plaque for yourself. And let's go ahead and get to the touchdown call contest. Steve, over to you. Who do you got, man?
Oh, and in a shock to everybody, in his first start of his career, give me Trey Benson, anytime touchdown, going off at plus 100 over at DraftKings. I've been so excited for Trey Benson to get the work. I wish it didn't happen this way. I'm not victory lapping an injury, so before everyone gets all mad about it, I feel bad for James Conner. But I can also be excited for Trey Benson and what he's going to do. He's an explosive runner with opportunity. He will find a hole. I expect him to get into the end zone this week. And then my second guy is a rookie right here at home. Give me TreVeyon Henderson, anytime touchdown. Listen, the ball is hitting the ground at an absurd rate for Ramondre Stevenson. The time has come to hand the keys to the kingdom to the young fella and get him in the end zone any way you can, whether that's through the air or the ground. I don't care how he does it, but the great thing is he's able to do it either way, if not both in this game. I could see a multiple touchdown game out of TreVeyon Henderson this week if he gets the opportunity, which he should, because Mike Vrabel does not tend to handle fumbles very well.
Eric, over to you for your TD calls.
Yeah, going with another rookie to take full advantage of his expanded opportunity, that being Omarion Hampton. Over at Bet365, he is minus 115 to score a touchdown. We know how much Greg Roman loves to run the ball and facilitate the offense through the ground game. Also, we're looking at a game script that is very, very favorable for the LA Chargers. They're one of the largest favorites or heaviest favorites on the board. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we're seeing Omarion Hampton find his way into the box for 2 scores. And then a little bit longer odds, Harold Fannin Jr. You can get him at plus 350 again at bet 365. A lot of this is me planting my flag that I think that this type of usage for both tight ends is very legitimate. The Browns are still the second in the league in terms of snaps or plays run out of 12 personnel. They also pass out of that formation more than anyone else in the league. 72% of the time that they are in 12 personnel, they are passing the ball. You need only look back to last week to see Mark Andrews scoring ample touchdowns to know that coming up against the Detroit Lions is a great opportunity for your tight end to find the end zone.
For me, keeping it on brand as Steve is here, Ashton Jeanty Anytime TD minus 135 at DraftKings.
All the youngsters.
Look, man, this is a situation. We called it the Joe Boo game. I think Jeanty shows up here, and against the Bears, they have allowed 3 different running backs to score this season, the 3rd most rushing yards to the position as well, 121 yards per game, the 6th most fantasy points. I think Jeanty can continue to grind out, get scores here, and chip away at that 10-plus touchdown ticket I placed in the offseason at plus 225 for quite a few units. I also take Keenan Allen for an anytime touchdown, plus 225 right now at bet 365. Look, the Giants, they've allowed 4 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers so far this season, at least 1 in each games as well, and it's usually not that X receiver. We did see George Pickens, GP, go up and get one last week, but it's usually the position who's running out of the flanker or even the slot. We've seen Debo do it. We've seen Turpin do it for the Cowboys. We've seen Thornton do it for the Kansas City Chiefs as well. Keenan currently 4th in the red zone with targets with 6 of them, 46.2% target share when he gets inside the 20. He's also caught a touchdown in 3 straight games for the Los Angeles Chargers. And if you go back last year when he played with the Bears, 7 of his last 10 games, he has found the painted area. So give me Keenan Allen and Ashton Jeanty to get back on the board. Steve's riding with Trey, Benson, and Henderson. Eric going with a couple of rookies as well. Harold Fannin Jr. and Omarion Hampton. Boys, let's hope it's a big weekend for the rookies. And let's get to a couple questions here before we get out of here. And again, easiest way to support us, guys, if you're new here to the channel, give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate the support. We appreciate all the questions as well. Make sure to come back, hang out with us every week, 9:35 p.m. Eastern time. Colin, I have Marvin Harrison Jr., BTJ, Dobbins, Henry, Benson, Jane Daniels, Tet. Do you think it's worth trading for a running back here? Keenan Allen, D-Hop, TJ Hawkinson. So you got Dobbins, you got Henry, you got Benson.
Worth it? I think it's always worth it. But it depends on which.
Yeah.
I'd trade Marvin Harrison Jr. and see if you can't get something better for him.
I mean, yeah.
I wouldn't trade Marvin Harrison Jr. for a running back.
Well,
I don't think you need a running back in your current configuration.
I don't think you need one. I think Benson's going to get
one.
Yeah. I think Benson will cover you as a RB2 for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, like I don't hate your team at all. Like I don't think there needs to be a ton of shifting and shaking right now. Like you can run out.
I actually think you might need a wide receiver.
That's why I was saying I wouldn't trade Harrison Jr. for a running back, right? Like
maybe package a running back with like Marv or something. See if you like after this week and see if you can get something better.
Yeah,
that might be what I would do.
I'd try to get a better wide receiver.
Yeah, it's not a bad team, Colin, but yeah, I would definitely say you need more receiver help than running back. But I like Keenan, I like Tataroa, I like BTJ. If you can get maybe just like, can we see what Marvin and Tootin can get you? Something like that. I wouldn't hate that at all. George asking, need help. I'm 0-3. Daniels at quarterback, Jefferson, Terry, Pearsall at wide receiver, Chase Brown, Brees, Javonte at running back. Do I trade Jefferson and Brees for Bijan and DJ Moore? Half point PPR. What do you think for our guy George here, Eric?
I'm probably not doing this trade. It feels kind of like a lateral move on its face. I think that it's going to be hard to watch Bijan go absolutely nuts if you're on that side of it. it's going to be hard to see Jefferson hit his ceiling over the course of the season, right? So
yeah, I'm holding
the net of it is
off.
probably not a significant change one way or the other, and you're going to be frustrated with the guy that you traded away, depending on which side you're on.
I think you need. I just think you need Jefferson here, right? Like I do like I think Bijan and DJ side like just as much, but like you need Jefferson, right? Like you don't have Terry here. Maybe next week, Pearsall.
Yeah.
He's been good, but like I think you're okay at running back right now, man. I think you're George. I know you're upset. I know you're frustrated, but hang in there tight, man. Stay in between, and I think just plugging it along. But I don't think that's the move you want to make right now. $5 super chat from our friend Alpha. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the question, Alpha. Saying nervous to accept this trade. Deebo Samuel and Cook for Gibbs and Michael Pittman Jr. to get points for return yards. I'm on Deebo and the Cook side. So I believe he has Deebo and Cook. He would be trading them for Gibbs and Michael Pittman Jr. Full team here from Alpha as well. Herbo, Jamar Chase, BTJ, Taylor, Cooks, Deebo, Tyreek Hill, Ertz, notable bench, DJ Moore. That's tough. That's a tough one.
I think it's probably an upgrade at both positions. So I'd probably accept that. It depends on who you get it. Like the Deebo and Cook side. Yeah, I'd take Gibbs and Pittman Jr. over
Eric.
That's the side I want as well. I want the Gibbs side of this. You're getting the best player in the trade by far.
Yeah, so you're getting the best player, and then I think Pittman has just proven to be more reliable. Like Deebo's a touchdown merchant at this point. Like if he gets a touchdown, he has a good game. But Pittman is doing it regardless. I think he has a more set role.
He's a touchdown merchant. He's longer in the tooth and has a shaky history of injury. He's currently getting the benefit of a slow start by Terry McLaurin, right? Like he will fall back to the second option in this offense before long. I think I'm doing this. I want to get the Gibbs and Pittman side.
Yeah.
Is there a different receiver you can get instead of Michael Pittman Jr.? That would be my question mark.
Why?
Honestly.
I thought he's doing fine. I think he's doing fine.
He's also not. He's not relying on Pittman Jr. either.
Yeah, Deebo's getting return yards, so I just would think I'd rather get a different. I don't know.
What is the scoring? Like 27, 25, and 14?
I think those are the return yards that he got from Deebo so far.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want a different receiver. I want a different receiver. That's where I stand. I would do it if it came down to it, but I'm not excited about it.
Are you verifying that this is like actually happening?
I think Philly Mike OG likes to throw out sometimes some I don't want to call it fake news. I don't know if we want to call this trolling, but Philly Mike OG, if I do believe, likes to do that occasionally. Eric, do you have confirmation that Kirk Cousins is the starter for the Falcons?
Yeah, yet unconfirmed.
Okay, all right.
Mike, what the heck, man?
But, hey, this ain't.
At least attach a super chat if you're gonna sit there and get us all riled up like this.
Yeah. Nimble saying Steve's 2 out of 10 panic level and T. Higgins is diabolical. I'm a little bit higher, but I understand. And yes, Adam, we will try to mix in a little bit of questions and answers before we get out of here if you have any for us as well. Half point PPR got offered Breece Hall, Devonta Smith for my Kyren Williams.
Smash accept.
I would do that.
Smash.
I would do that.
Smash accept.
Nimble saying counter Breece and Smith both boomer bust, whereas Kyren is more stable. I understand. I understand. I do think
Blake
Breece
Corum has looked as good or better.
I just think Breece and Kyren are at a similar tier, and you're getting Smith as a sweetener. So Ben letting us know that Jawan and Josh Allen let you down. I almost tailed you on the Josh Allen call last week, Ben. So I'm there with you. He let me down too. Just a couple yards short of our rushing line, Eric, that we were on. Galaxy, trade worthy JCM at Fortet and Caleb Williams. Currently have Nix, Lamb, K9, Ladd, Roma Dunze, Addison, Hawkinson. Are you doing this trade, Steve?
Yeah. I am. I think
I am as well.
I like Tataroa.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's the upside. I don't love trading for a quarterback in a 1
No,
league.
I don't either.
Like that's usually like bleh.
But then
like,
you can maybe go trade Knicks or Williams maybe. Just
right.
For
I don't
something.
love JCM this season. Rest of the way, Worthy. I don't know what he is. I don't know what he's going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me Ted.
Yeah, I would say, can you get anyone different than Caleb? But if not, I would still probably do that. Davila Askin got offered Breece Hall and Devonta Smith. Oh, we already got to that one.
Here I got to that.
All right.
Take that.
Trying to sell high on Pollard.
Wait, I want to know why my 2 out of 10 on T Higgins is diabolical too. If they're still here, if you're still here, why?
Trying to sell high on Tony Pollard for receiver room. CD Lamb, London, Shakir, Coleman, Booty, Godwin. What could a return for Pollard and Shakir look like? Half point PPR. Eric?
Trade London.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say in a vacuum, right? I think you could probably get into like a wide receiver 20 type range, right? Pollard, for as steady as he has been as an RB2, he has almost no trade appeal out in the market, right? People are not going to get gassed up about getting a guy who's going to get all the touches and score you between 8 and 13 points, right? So it's really going to be hard to get the type of return that I think you should for a guy like Pollard. Also, I think your wide receiver room is fine. Obviously, CD hurts. London, the arrow is
doesn't want Shakir and Coleman though. But I get it.
Booty is a fine option. Godwin is returning. Like it's going to be tough for a week or two. But I don't think that it's complete like panic mode in your wide receiver core.
Would you do that for Keenan Allen or Cortland Sutton?
I would not do that for Keenan Allen. Please do not trade for Keenan Allen. I would do it for Cortland Sutton. Absolutely.
Why not
Ricky
Allen?
Pearsall?
No.
I would do it for Ricky Pearsall, maybe.
Sure.
I think that's the tier of receiver you're looking
range.
at. Yeah, I think that's the tier of receivers you're looking at here. Tingley, Hayo, 3-0, 10 team PPR, 2 flex, 3 wide receivers. Evans, Rice, CD out for a few weeks. Rest of the team is Garrett Wilson, Pearsall, HN, Chase Brown, Benson, Dobbins, Swift, Mandrews, Jawan, Baker. Should I force some trades or live on the wire?
Live on the wire. Don't force trades. You got.
Are you having to go to the wire? I mean, you've got starters still on your.
I think it's the 3. The 3 wide receiver. He doesn't. They don't have a receiver.
Yeah.
So I would live on the wire. Your team is really strong. Otherwise,
I would consider. I would move running back. I'd move one of those 5 running backs. You got 5. You need 3. Move 2 of them.
I'd probably Chase Brown.
Move Mark Andrews off this game too. Move Andrews off this. Yes, I would. Don't force trades, but make some trades.
Go get Justin Jefferson for Chase Brown.
You're not making that. No one's doing that.
Chase Brown and Mark Andrews doesn't get you Justin Jefferson?
No, doesn't.
No,
really? With Carson Wentz and JJ McCarthy, he doesn't look great.
Guys like Godwin, Ridley, Ayo, Tucker, and Shepard are on the waivers. I mean, you can go get any of those guys too. Yeah, like honestly, maybe you aren't in that dire strait if you can get someone like Ayo, Manor, Shepard, Godwin.
I mean,
I know he's not
step
playing,
1 is
anyway.
add Godwin and move him into your IR spot when he's rolled out, or play him if he's starting. Ayo Manor is fine, right?
Yeah,
there's options there.
Mm-hmm. Colin, should I sell high on Marvin Harrison Jr.? Should I wait? Yes, wait, and then sell high. Yep. And I think that's what I would do, Colin. Hello from Derek. If you had CMC on your team, would you drop Brian Robinson Jr. and DJ Moore for Judkins?
Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah. Just
you can't play the backup game. You gotta it's all about guys that are playing.
I mean, this is a shallow league. I'm guessing if Judkins and DJ Moore, could potentially be out there. Yes, so you got to have Judkins. It is a trade block party tonight in the chat, Ben. You're absolutely right, man. Should I sell high on Keenan Allen?
No.
It just depends what you're gonna get. I don't know.
No, because you're not gonna get anything. Because you get people like Eric who are he's ancient, he's my age, blah 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 blah.
I was willing to move some stuff for Keenan Allen,
but he's not Eric. He's my age, and we're young. We're thriving.
We are thriving. That's what we do right here. We keep it thriving on the In Between Fantasy Football podcast. Thank you guys so much who have rode alongside with us. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the entire channel. We've got fantasy football, NFL betting content coming for you weekly, 9:35 p.m. Eastern time every single week on the IBT podcast. We got college football betting, NASCAR betting, PGA betting, entertainment betting, all to help you cash more and to enjoy the ride along the way. You can also consider joining the IBT football family. You can get access to us in the Discord all the time for all your fantasy football questions. You can get entry into our memorabilia giveaways. You're going to get to also get access to our full weekly betting cards and join the touchdown contest. Guys, it has been absolutely so much fun. Please be sure to check out the inbetweenmedia.com and everything else we have. The IBT football family link is in the episode description for that. All the dope written content we have over there is for you as well. And some more events popping up each and every couple months here. We're going to have some really fun things coming for you guys in 2026. Hopefully by Black Friday, we'll have some offers out for you guys to get invested with. Come hang out with us live in the summertime. Guys, for Eric Romoff and Steve Lawson, I'm Seth Wilcock. Thanks so much for tuning in. Keep it in between until next time. Thank you.